Okay, so this is, we're going to have our 5th installment of the Wonderware HMI. And before we had these real-time for what the timers were timing out as. And I had just moved these timing a little bit up here. What we're going to do now is we're going to put in configuration. And the two things with HMIs is you want to have a good visual, but the other thing that you always have to have is you have to have some way to configure stuff, to change things around. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the graphics. Pretty much these guys are kind of just indicators and not, well, I don't know, you can probably use them for inputting, but what I like using is this text box, which is just a plain simple box. And I'm going to make 2 of these guys. And so now, well, let me just also, what I'm going to do is copy these. I'm going to put them down here, and I'm going to change this to set point. So this one is going to be set point. And again, I'll just move over here and change this one straight away. So those are taken care of. Now, what I want to do is I want to give these tags in our driver sheet. So put in T1 set point, and these will both be integers, and T2 set point, and again this will be an integer. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to put in a cycle count. Before we were just looking at the output of the end of cycle bit, and that would be a binary 1 or 0. Now we're actually going to put something up here that'll give us the integer value of what's getting counted. So let's see what we're going to do for these set points and cycle count. So here we have a fixed number. It's always 6, and we're going to be able to make change. So what we need to do is we need to use data registers, and I had already selected some of these, but what DS is for data register, and that's your integer register. So T1 is going to be my set, T2 is my set point for the other one, and I was going to put in cycle count. Maybe we'll do that later. But so here for this guy, I'm just going to OK DS1. For here, I'm going to OK DS2. And we'll leave this one for later, I guess. We're not going to configure him. So if we look at what the address picker, and for DS1, and what we're going to do for our Modbus, and for the DS1s, they're really straightforward. Here's one thing to notice. So I have the initial value. That's what's going to be in there without having to load anything into DS1. That's the initial condition. And the Modbus address is 4, and it looks like about 4 zeros and 1. But really, when I go into my I/O address here, all I need is 4x:1 and 4x:2. Now, for my cycle count, what I need to do is the cycle count is CTD1. Before we were looking at CT1, which that's just the thing that tells me when it's completed its terminal count. So that's a binary. This is an integer. And if we go into there and we go into CTD and number 1, and if I look at my address here, now this is 4,49153, and if we go back into the CT1 is 1,49153. So it's the same thing, only it's register 4 rather than register 1. So if we go into here, this will be 4x 49153. And here we have 1x 49153. That's just something to know. And we'll copy, we'll paste, and that did not give me what I wanted. Let's see. This is 4x 49153. Okay, that looks a little better. So we're going to save those. So now I have these set points in here, but just as we did with these, they're not tied into this block. So I'm going in here. The first thing is I have to make sure that this input enable is in there. Now I can also set minimum values and maximum values. So I want it to time at least something. So I'm going to have 1, and maximum, well, we can make it whatever. We're not going to set it that high. But now the tag is going to be my T1 set point. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So it'll be 160, and this will be my T2 set point. Okay, now the last thing that I'm going to do, well, I'll just copy the text over here, and I'll change the text to say cycle count. And I'll make it bigger so it's more obvious. So we'll go up to maybe 16. And now here, you know, before we just, well, I'm not sure how we did it. But here, if I wanted to, I can either click on this box and add data text, but I can also just do here, do the colon and do 2 signs, and that will automatically say that it's going to have a text link. So if I go in here for the text link, now I can just pick cycle count, and that should be good. So here it's going to go from 0 to 1, but here should be the running numbers, so we should see a count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. So I think we're pretty good shape. And when we first start up, this should say 6, this should say 4, but then we can enter a number and we can, I think we'll make it go faster. But now let's take a look here. Well, we did change these DS numbers, so we have to still go in here and reload the program. And in general, anytime you're you know, it doesn't hurt to reload the project, even if you're not, well, even if you're pretty sure you haven't changed anything. And that'll pop up, well, we'll know whether this will work here pretty soon. So when we go into Wonderware, we'll start out our program. And here, so here everything is off. So when we hit start, we'll start counting. The set points are this, and actually I don't really like these guys. I want to go in here and I'll go into fonts, and it looks like I can make those a lot bigger, so I'm going to change these to 20. Okay, and now I'm going into run, and hopefully we'll see some bigger numbers. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So hit reset. Not sure that I need to, but let's start. So, you know, as we count, this will be 6, and then this will be 4, and this will count up to 1. So this is going to show us our count, and everything looks fine. Now let's let it run, and we can watch it through here as it's actually doing what we want. And then when we get to the end of count, we'll make it go faster. I'll change this like 2 seconds and maybe 3 seconds, or 3 and 2, I don't know. But we'll have it go a little faster. But again, you know, we want to see the visualization, but if you can configure it, that is something in real life that you'd want to do. Now, you know, there aren't too many things we can change. We can change how many times that we have the flash on here. We can change how long, you know, we can either have it flash at half-second intervals or, you know, maybe full second intervals. So, and there are some also some things that you would want to change. For instance, and I'm going just to go to the control panel and turn it on over here. And now, you know, we should say this just 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And again, we see that light. We see that that went to a logic 1. So, okay. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and so it's switching faster. But you know, for our system, we can change things like how much are we going to fill the black cup and how much are we going to fill the white cup. We have some variability there. There is a thing that we have at the hopper. We have it delay a little bit, so we could change that delay if we want. And you know, there's a few things that we can do, but being able to change configuration is something that you'd want in you know, real system, and it's a good thing to know. And so that's what we have. So well, maybe we can just quickly put in the thing for we can change the actual configuration of the cycle count. So if we exit out of here and we'll put the actual cycle count in here, what we can do is just to be quick, let's just copy one of these guys, and well, we kind of have to rearrange it. Well, I didn't do that right. I want to copy it. I'm going to put it down here, move him over here, and so I'll put this as cycle set point. Okay, and yep, that'll be an integer. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this cycle set point, and we aren't going to have a maximum value of 60. We'll probably make that about 10. And for putting it in our tags here, we'll say cycle set point. And we're going to make this, we said that that was 4x, and that was number 3 for the register. So Control C, Control V, those are okay. Yep. And let's make sure we've got this tied to our cycle set point. And then we have to go in here and we have to change this to DS3. So that should be good, and we'll write this into our PLC and see how this is going to work. And one of the things that we can do is we can make this a shorter number of cycles. So if we're in Wonderware and we go into Run, and let's reset it. Okay, so this had an initial thing of 5, and let's go in and change it just to 3. So I'm going to start it from this, from the HMI. So we're reset, we're at zeros off. So now, well, and I'm going to change this to the shorter cycle again. So I'll make them 2 seconds each. So it'll be 2 seconds, 2 seconds, and then just 3 cycles, and then we're done. So that'll be pretty good. And there's one count, there's second count, and the third count, and that's it. So there we showed about configuration. It's something that you'd want to do, and it's really valuable. I think next time we'll show a couple other type of animations that are kind of helpful for the well, they might be helpful, but it's a couple things that we do on the trainer for actually moving the carriage back and forth. And then we'll show about just how to kind of clean up some of these screens and how to make most of what we have available here. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.